Democrats are losing it. California just declared a full-blown emergency to protect illegal immigrants, not citizens. Barack Obama has suddenly appeared and is backing a radical new political agenda. Gavin Newsom's playing games, and finally, RFK Jr.'s wife goes on to The View, gives them a reality check. In all these stories, we're going to show you what both sides are saying and then give you the unfiltered truth. Let's start in Los Angeles County.
Breaking news now, LA County has declared a state of emergency over the immigration raids. The Board of Supervisors voted today. Board members say the raids are preventing people from going to work and forcing some businesses to close. The emergency allows the board to look at enacting an eviction moratorium and other protections for people impacted by the raids. And this news just coming into.
So there you go. They're going to enact an eviction moratorium. Now, I'm not sure because I don't rent or own any property in California, in Los Angeles. But leave a comment down below. Do landlords have to check the immigration status? Do you think they actually do that? Because if that's the case, then the landlords can be held responsible. Because this right here shows you exactly where the Democrat priorities are. LA County officials just declared a state of emergency, not for veterans, not for families struggling with gas and grocery prices, not for the record number of Californians leaving the state. Nope. They declared it to protect illegal immigrants from ICE raids.
LA County Board of Supervisors voted to issue a state of emergency over federal immigration operations. The proclamation means the county can now financially assist those they say are struggling financially due to ICE raids. Those raids have caused widespread fear among LA County's over 3 million immigrants.
So what?
3 million immigrants in Los Angeles County. You can't make this up. The Board of Supervisors voted to give themselves sweeping powers to protect communities impacted by ICE. Those federal agents that are, it's their job to get rid of the illegals. Now, this eviction moratorium, I want you to hear a little more of this. It's interesting.
What exactly can the county do? John Fenolio has answers live from Hollywood tonight. John.
Micah, Cher, since June, federal agents have detained or arrested thousands of Angelenos suspected of being in the U.S. unlawfully. American citizens have also been swept up.
No, they haven't.
LA County supervisors say an emergency declaration is needed to better respond to those folks who have been impacted. But opponents of this move say it's just not necessary and may very well hurt landlord.
Horvath?
Aye.
Supervisor Horvath? Aye.
By a 4-1 vote, the LA County Board of Supervisors declaring a state of emergency over ongoing federal immigration raids.
For months, families have been living under threat. Workers have been kidnapped from job sites, and children have been coming home to empty dinner tables.
I have a quick question for anyone who voted for Donald Trump. What are you going to tell your child when they come home from school crying because their best friend was just taken out of their classroom by an immigration agent?
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Well, that means they have bad parents. The parents came here illegally. They didn't register and become citizens. And so, yeah, mom and dad got arrested while the kids were at school. That's going to happen. As far as people being kidnapped from job sites, that's a lie. ICE has been going to construction job sites, going to Home Depot, going to Lowe's, and arresting illegal aliens. They are not kidnapping anyone. These are adults being taken and sent back to the country that they snuck in from. Now, here's what I think is really going to happen. There's going to come out with this eviction moratorium, and you, the taxpayer, are going to pay these landlords because the illegals can't work and pay rent. Your tax money is going to subsidize little Consuelo and Iho and Pedro while mom and dad are sent back to Mexico. It also removes the ability for any public comment. It gives the government, it gives that Los Angeles County sweeping powers. Remember the way it worked, with the COOF? That's exactly what they want. These new legal shields, this is going to give taxpayer money to people who aren't even supposed to be here. Meanwhile, the crime is through the roof. Electricity costs are climbing. The middle class is being hollowed out, and this is what they're focused on? While the government is shut down? Because the government, Donald Trump, won't sign off to give health care to illegal aliens? We have millions of homeless veterans across the United States, and we're focusing on them? Los Angeles County is a clown show. The circus is here.
The move allows the board to provide assistance to county residents they say have struggled financially because of the crackdown on immigrants, including rent relief to tenants directly impacted by the raids.
I knew it. Rent relief. What they're doing is using this moment to undermine Trump's immigration crackdown. It's plain and simple. They're creating political cover for people to ignore federal law, and the media is already running interference to make it look like Trump's the bad guy. And now let's talk about The View, because this right here was glorious. RFK Jr.'s wife, Cheryl Hines, went on that show and straight up shattered their little echo chamber. You could see the hosts weren't ready. They came out swinging, calling her husband the least qualified HHS secretary in history, throwing around the usual buzzwords, and she was not dealing with this. She was not allowing it.
The problem, respectfully, is that your husband is the least qualified Department of Health and Human Services head that we've had in history.
I do not.
I think that's a very dangerous.
Why is he less qualified than an economist?
I think
How is
that he
possible?
is less qualified.
He has spent his career studying toxins, studying people's health, fighting for one guy who was using Roundup for his job.
He has also spread a lot of misinformation, a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion.
Now, the former HHS secretary was a dude that dressed as a woman every day, but apparently also an expert. And she's making reference to the cases against Monsanto, and this is so good to see.
And I think it's just a very dangerous thing. I say it with the utmost respect.
Some of it's good and some of it's not. That's the point. Listen, we all have different views here.
Yes.
And when you say, misinformation, disinformation, we could go back to COVID when...
He's connecting circumcision to autism.
May I finish?
Please.
When Fauci people were saying when you get the vaccine, you cannot transmit COVID. It will stop COVID. And that was disinformation, misinformation.
We were also still learning about it. It was a novel virus we've never encountered before.
Right.
Because now the doctors will acknowledge that you
and Dr.
can't.
Fauci has a medical degree.
At the time, they were censoring Bobby because Bobby said, where's the science to show us this? And there wasn't any. But people attacked him and said, you're wrong. So it's like, let's take a step back. I know that's your...
RFK Jr. is wrong whenever it doesn't fit their narrative. They will never admit he's right. They use the same buzzwords, but she didn't flinch. She calmly dismantled their talking points one by one. When they tried to lecture her on the vax, she flipped it right back, pointing out how Fauci and the so-called experts were the one pushing actual misinformation. You saw their faces on the host just freeze. No witty comeback, no applause line, no laugh line. Just awkward silence and forced smiles. Now, a lot of people would say that this is the symbol of the Democrat Party. And I think it would be easy for me to, I'm going to agree with every one of them.
How do you feel about these paychecks going out during the shutdown? I don't think anyone's opposed to people being paid, but people look at this and say this could actually extend the shutdown because it takes out some of the pressure points that might exist that would lead Democrats and Republicans to come together.
Oh, you know what? Of course I want our military paid. Of course I want federal law enforcement officers to be paid. There's a way to do that. I'm an appropriator. We should have passed appropriations bills. There's a way to run a government, and this is not the way to run a government.
How do you feel?
So this lady, she is a Democrat rep, Madeleine Dean. She's outraged President Trump is keeping our troops paid during the Democrat shutdown. And it is called the Democrat shutdown. I just showed you here how in California they're choosing illegals over citizens. And that's exactly what the federal government is doing. And I don't know how anyone in uniform can continue to vote the way that they do.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
Looks like every one of them there, from Swallows Well down to the Crystal Lady, Marianne. They all had a plan, and the plan has been exposed to give every illegal alien free health care. Can't deny it. It's on tape. This is their video. This is the Democrat debate where Obama somehow pulled this off.
My understanding of this is they have every right to move the funds around, duly appropriated dollars from Congress to the Department of Defense. There were some R&D accounts that had not been spent, and that's my understanding is that's the money that's being used to pay the troops right now. If the Democrats want to go to court and challenge troops being paid, bring it, okay? I'm grateful for a commander-in-chief who understands the priorities of the country, the necessity of national defense, and the urgency that we all feel and have voted for 8 times. Republicans have voted.
Do you think that the government should stay shut down? Do you think men and women in uniform, federal officers, military should be paid? Who is to blame for this? But it's very clear to see, in my opinion, who the Democrats have picked. They have picked illegals. They have picked criminals. They're now backing the cartels, and I'm waiting for a federal judge to step in and restart the war in Gaza.
Voted in Congress 8 times now between House and Senate to fund the troops and pay federal workers in all these essential jobs and agencies because we understand the necessity of that. Meanwhile, the Democrats voted 8 times to block their paychecks. I'm grateful we have a president who is willing to step up and do the right thing.
There we go. Mike Johnson. I'm grateful that we have a president that's ready to step up and do the right thing.
But Keith, is that what you're saying? Is that this is representative of the Republican Party?
I am saying exactly that. The Republican Party in the past 10 years has moved down the road of racism. So it's not surprising that you see the open embrace of Nazism, of anti-Semitism, of homophobia, of transphobia, of sexism, of attacks on immigrants and xenophobia. Because the Republican Party under Donald Trump, the Republican Party under Donald Trump has doubled down on its racism.
All right.
It's very ironic to see a black Democrat defending the Democratic Party, considering who started that little group with the white hoods. I think he should probably look into some things. But what they're coming up with, or what they're freaking out about, is these leaked private messages from a group of young Republicans, apparently. And if you believe that, I've got some beachfront property in Arizona to sell you. But the same people that are freaking out about these leaked private messages in a chat group with a bunch of college teenagers are not saying anything about the Attorney General from the state of Virginia, could be the next Attorney General in Virginia, that was actually sending text messages advocating for the death of an opponent's children. So the pearl clutching, and J.D. Vance comes out and says it. This is far worse than anything said in a college chat. And the guy that said it could become the chief law enforcement from the state of Virginia. Here is a statement from the young Republicans. We're appalled by the vile and inexcusable language in the Politico article. So that should give it some credit. Such behavior is disgraceful, unbecoming of any Republican, and stands in direct opposition to the values of our movement. It's really ironic to see them come out so quickly, but I have not seen one elected Democrat come out and disavow the dancing, the cheering, the singing of the death and the celebrations of the death of Charlie Kirk. So the pearl clutching, it's a little old for me right now. And you can see here the Politico article, thousands of leaked messages show leaders of the young Republican groups joking about gas chamber slavery, and it was all in a Telegram chat. So Democrats, I challenge you, Hakeem Jeffries, please come out and make a statement about the people that were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Now, Donald Trump leaked some information yesterday about a wealthy gentleman offering to pay the troops' wages through the government shutdown. And I have an idea of who this could be because it's costing a lot of money. I think it's about $6 billion is what it would cost to pay the United States military. Listen to Trump. He lets the cat out of the bag. Do you think it's Elon Musk?
Shutdown. You have the money to pay the troops on October 15th? Okay.
I actually have a man who is a very wealthy person. You'll know that when I tell you this. Who called a donor, a great gentleman, and he said, if there's any money necessary, shortfall, for the paying of the troops, that I will pay it, meaning he will pay it. How about that? I said, look, we're not going to need it. We're going to take care of our troops, but this was a position that's being forced upon us by Democrats. And all.
There's no way this isn't Elon Musk. This is a very Elon Musk thing to do. The Democrats are choosing illegals over American citizens, over the United States military, and it sounds like Elon Musk is willing to bridge that gap. And he's a naturalized American citizen. And the Democrats hate him because he's African American. Democrats are in trouble. This should scare every one of them. It comes from CNN.
Actually represents pretty accurately, mathematically, how the country is divided over the question of the presidency. But if you look at this is what the party pickups would be for congressional districts. Republicans, 5. Missouri, 1. North Carolina, 1. Ohio, 2 or 3. Indiana, 1 or 2. Florida, still discussion down there, but that could be another gold mine for them if they tipped it even further their way. Kansas 1, New Hampshire 1, and Nebraska. Democrats, Utah, California, Maryland. Look at this. If you offset California and Texas, Missouri and Utah, North Carolina and Maryland, everything left over is an advantage to the Republicans. And don't forget, the Supreme Court is considering what could really be the end of the Voting Rights Act, which would protect minority groups. So you don't have a state that's half black, for example, that elects only one congressional member and everybody else goes to the Republicans that would represent that population.
Democrats could lose 19 seats. Do you know what that would do to the Democrat Party? Well, they're doing it to themselves. And every decision they make, when they choose an illegal, when they choose a criminal, when they choose a cartel member, when they choose someone celebrating the death of a father that just wanted to talk to people and debate issues, I think that number goes up. That 19 number right there, I would love to see it hit like 20, 25. The Democrat Party is in a downward spiral.
And they would send $500 million to liberal news outlets by refunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples. This is in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do. They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras.
Climate resilience in Honduras. Find that on a map for me.
They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe.
Find that one on there. Civic engagement in Zimbabwe. Yeah. Okay. That sounds logical.
They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans. They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction in the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic principles in Africa.
I think we need more feminine dance therapy in Northern Africa. And I'm joking. This is an absolute clown show, what the Democrat Party wants to pay for. It's only getting worse. Now, here's something big. Antifa, they're coming for you.
One of the things about Antifa, you've heard President Trump say multiple times, they are organized, they are a criminal organization, and they're very organized. You're seeing people out there with thousands of signs that all match pre-bought, pre-put together. They're organized and someone is funding it. We're going to get to the funding of Antifa. We're going to get to the root of Antifa, and we are going to find and charge all of those people who are causing this chaos in Portland and all these other cities across our country. Talk to all the influencers who have been threatened and beat up and their lives threatened from Antifa members. It's going to stop under Donald Trump.
It sounds like Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice are wising up. They're going after the money train that has been occurring around the United States. Antifa's organized. All the umbrellas, all the signs, all the little piles of bricks that magically appear overnight are being paid for by someone. And by Donald Trump declaring Antifa a terrorist organization, it gives him the ability to trace the money. Tune in every day right here, 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. I think that's 9:30 a.m. California stand for, today's news. Thank you for watching. Check out my sponsor right here, King Greens. You can save 30% off. Subscribe and save. It's all superfoods, 15 superfoods. You just add a little packet to some water, improve your health, get rid of the brain fog, give you a positive alkalinity to your blood so you can say F cancer. Thank you for tuning in to the Ben Dykes Show. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.